Hello, my name's Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. By accessing this presentation, you're inviting me to share this information regarding our passage through this challenging and very hopeful time. This is the care and feeding of a New World Age report for the Gregorian date of May 9th, 2014, which is one Khan or seed or lizard in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. And we're also going to be talking about the Scorpio full moon, Mars turning direct, and the sun moving into Gemini. May 9th, 2014 is one Khan seed or lizard. This carries the themes of corn, the net overflowing after the harvest, planting, ripeness, sexual maturity, abundance to manifest, connecting with others, the lizard of fertility and growth, germination, children and family. The seed in the Tzolkin has two primary representations. One is a net that's just full of corn, and the other is a lizard. And these are both symbols of fertility. So this 13-day period is excellent for planting new intentions and other seeds. And here in the northern hemisphere, this is going to be about when we can finally put seeds in the ground once we get past the time when it might frost. Um, so anyway, before I get into the daily energy for one Khan, um, on the 9th, all the planets are appearing to move forward from our vantage point here on the Earth, with the exception of Mars, Saturn, and Pluto, which are appearing to move retrograde or in reverse motion. Uh, and Mars turned retrograde on May 1st and is going to turn direct during this Trecena on May 19th. Mars is at the peak of its intensity during the Trecena because it's at a standstill. And so this represents our drive and aggression in Libra, and it appears to be just slowing down, coming to a stop before it then slowly starts to move direct again. And Mars is in its detriment in Libra because it's in the opposite sign of Aries, which is the sign of Martian rulership. And this is traditionally considered to have difficulty operating positively in Libra. And because of its retrograde cycle, Mars is spending 8 months in the sign of the scales. And typically, Mars spends 2 months in a sign. So this placement for most of the year is uncomfortable and monotonous. And Mars agitates, but in Libra, it's about relationships. So this can be about social anger. This can cause us to see an increase in passive aggression. Mars is about drive and wanting to take action. In Libra, it's likely the drive to make somebody else take action. Mars has been in Libra for several months. I've watched people competing for love. There's a willingness to fight for a partner, Mars and Libra. People are becoming aggressive in their quest for romantic love. Mars is also about sexuality. So retrograde Mars is contraindicating for beginning a new satisfying sexual relationship. So if you've got one on the horizon, it's a good idea to wait until after the 19th for your seeds there. Anyway, considering the Trecena here. So anyway, this has been a difficult time to access our drive and aggressive energy, but the change is on the horizon. Now Saturn also turned retrograde, and it turned retrograde the day after Mars on March 2nd. It's going to be turning direct on July 20th. Themes of Saturn and Scorpio are depression, loss, failure, fear, the shadow, betrayal. Very, very deep stuff. So we're, not superficiality just really doesn't cut it. Saturn retrograde is like a taskmaster. It demands that we take responsibility to review the scorpionic themes of the sign it's in which would be things like motives, ethics, intentions. So if you've not been clear on these subjects, you're likely to feel that your burden is heavier than what you previously expected you'd be carrying as Saturn is retrograde. And then we got Pluto down here in Capricorn. Pluto represents death and completion in Capricorn. It's about the breakdown of structures to bring about transformation. And Pluto in Capricorn is determined in exposing the darkness and destroying the old order, so we can rise up like the phoenix from the ashes and soar again. And Capricorn is about large structures, which includes banks, governments, corporations, religions. Uh, this is a time of a cosmic course correction for the entire planet. I've been talking about this. Um, and it's really resistance to Pluto's lessons of letting go of the past, which bring tragedy and pain. So, the best thing we can do is just kind of go with the flow and surrender to Pluto. And Capricorn, this is really focused on uh, building and achievement. It's rooted in the material world. So, think about the goat that's climbing the highest mountains as a symbol of Capricorn. And Pluto rules the underworld, so we've got events going on such as earthquakes, volcanoes, giant sinkholes, things involving subways, tunnels, any kind of infrastructure in general. Also battles for underground resources such as oil, fracking. Um, Capricorn's also about the elderly, and here in the U.S., we have a political battle over Social Security, which was paid for by people's payroll deductions, has nothing to do with the national debt, but because our government borrowed from Social Security and has no way to pay it back, they want to dismantle this lifeline for our seniors, which our seniors have already paid for. So anyway, let's look at the daily vibrational energy for this Trecena. May 9th is one Khan or seed or lizard in the Tzolkin. It's about unity being experienced through planting seeds and making new connections. I'm not covering the daily lunar activity in these reports other than new moons or full moons, but that information is available on the New World Birth daily Facebook page post or on the blogger New World Birth blog. On the 10th, it's Tu Chan or serpent, duality experienced through being flexible. And at this point, from our perspective here on the Earth, we have the Sun in opposition to Saturn. So they're basically 180 degrees apart from each other. One's on one side of the Earth, the other's on the other. So this makes us conscious of limitations in our lives that have been imposed by others or circumstances. Just knowing that this energy is affecting us is helpful. Also knowing that it only lasts a day or two. So this may be a difficult time for communicating, but don't let this drag you down or overwhelm you. This is a day that's about trying to find a way to balance our needs with our obligations. People may not feel effective psychologically, which may make communications more difficult, as folks feel a conflict between the needs of others and their own self-expression. So this is important to find a balance between your needs and your obligations. Neither one's really meant to win out over the other. If you have obligations win over self-expression, then people are going to feel restless and unfulfilled. But if we ignore our duties and choose to do only what we want, we'll experience conflicts with others. So compromise is the best avenue on the 10th. And this can also affect us psychologically with feelings of isolation and loneliness whenever we're interacting with Saturn here. And then on the 11th, we have 3 Kimi or transformation, taking action through releasing what no longer serves us. And while we have Venus here in Aries opposing Mars, so this is another 180 degree angle, which makes us conscious of the limitations in our life. Which actually is positive for stimulating sexual and creative energy. So if you're involved in a sexual relationship that is going well, this can bring a nice release of sexual energy and achieve gratification for both partners. But on the other hand, if there's problems with sexual expression in the relationship, it might bring a point of conflict between the couple. Mars' ego energy is not fulfilled sexually through Venus, the energy transforms into the energy for conflict. This can be, come up as one person feels gratified, yet insensitive to their partner's needs. A new relationship that starts under this transit it tends to be more of a sexual outlet with little compatibility in other areas. So it's important not to make a commitment until the relationship really proves itself out. For people expressing themselves through creative outlets, this is a good transit to complete for completing work here with the full latitude for self-expression. Something else is interesting about Venus-Mars opposition is that both planets are detrimented because they're in the sign opposite of the sign of their rulership, but they have mutual reception because they're actually in each other's signs. So typically mutual reception means that the planets work together. But the way these two work together is arguing, aggression, passive aggression, being antisocial, and this is really going to be a theme that you're likely to see more between the 10th and the 17th. So expect people to challenge each other, and if challenged, expect retribution, particularly around the themes of fairness, love, and money. And then also on the 11th, Mercury squares Neptune. So we have Mercury here, Neptune is over here. So from our perspective here on the Earth, this is a 90-degree angle. This brings considerable confusion to our communications and thinking. This will be a time to carefully choose words to avoid being misunderstood. Excuse me. In order to avoid confrontations, folks are more likely to keep secrets and avoid, controversial information. But this is not really recommended because it's only going to add to the confusion. And then, so this is a day to be careful about business dealings, as people are more likely to be representing what they have to offer. Overall, we should strive to keep thinking and communication clear, factual, rooted in reality. Otherwise, we're likely to lead to unpleasant experiences. And this is also real positive for studying anything religious, spiritual, and mystical, Neptune and Mercury. Just don't get lost down the rabbit hole on this one. And then the 12th, we have for Manik, or deer. This is about stability through being a service to others. With Mercury, again, and this time it's in a trine to Mars, so over here. So from our perspective here on the Earth, this is a 120-degree angle. This is good for mental work with more energy than usual and a willingness to take on difficult problems. People will be speaking their minds, not to get into fights, but just to get their ideas across. This transit brings confidence to express beliefs without the fear of letting others know where you stand. This can bring a certain boldness and innovativeness to plans that are made at this time. This might be a good day to beware of other forceful opinions and avoid avoid having a conflict when voicing your own opinion. It's also like good energy to take action that depends on impressing somebody with your confidence and skills. You may want to ask for a raise under this Mercury trine Mars transit. It's also good for public speaking because as the usual anxiety that comes from standing in front of a crowd is diminished. Plans made under this influence tend to be bold and innovative. And then on May 13th, we have 5 Lamma, or star, or rabbit, which is about empowerment through being grateful for abundant relationships. And then the 14th is 6 Maluk, or offering, which is about being in the flow through appreciating creation, with Venus in a square to Mars. So from our perspective here on Earth, here's Venus, and squared at Pluto. Here's Venus over here, here's Pluto down here. So this square is a 90-degree angle, and Venus square Pluto causes us to revisit the energy of that grand cardinal cross, because Mars has moved out of that orb with that, but the other planets are still within a few degrees of each other. And then Venus comes around and it's going to start connecting with each one of those planets that was part of last month's cardinal grand cross. Um, so it's intensifying our emotional experiences and expression. It brings a few days when that are more challenging for relationships, as it brings secrets out into the open. It's a time of being drawn into powerful love experiences that change our consciousnesses, for at least for a time anyway. This can bring challenges to relationships that our only recourse is to surrender and accommodate whatever the shift is. And this can be difficult because for people who really crave stability in their relationships, so at times at times like this, relationships are anything but stable. So probably the best option is to kind of hold loosely to those you love for a few days, and after the 14th, a few days before and after the 14th. This could be a time when we might hear or contemplating contacting a former lover, uh, or because whenever we have Venus dancing with Pluto, we've got Death dancing with romance. So that's and it's interesting because Pluto is the traditional ruler of Scorpio, and also on the 14th we have the Scorpio full moon at 23 degrees 55 minutes, 24 degrees, almost 24 degrees. So the moon is finding support from Jupiter. It's merging with Saturn. It's opposed by the sun. It's a full moon, which has people feeling a pleasant sense of well-being, but also wanting to be alone in their thoughts and feelings as it's dancing with Jupiter and Saturn. Uh, Full moons are times of tension as the sun is in Taurus, which is about balancing practical and material concerns with emotional and spiritual realms, which is being more represented by the moon in Scorpio. On the 14th, also, Jupiter is making a trine to Chiron, so that's a 120-degree angle, bringing an expression to our powers of healing and having a deeper realization and wisdom about our past wounds. May 15th is 7 Ak or dog. This is about reflection through enjoying family and friends in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. And we've got Mercury in a sextile to Venus and also to Uranus. Venus is probably moved along here, so it's more like there, because these two are in the straight line here. So again, Mercury in a 60-degree angle to both Venus and Uranus. And one of the things that's interesting to me, because I usually think of alignments between planets being in odd numbers, 1 or 3 or 7, or this Uranus Pluto square, or rarely 7, but so 1, 3, 5, 7 is a lot. But this alignment actually happens twice, and the second occurrence is later in the month on the 28th. Basically, Mercury in Gemini is racing along as it makes its 60-degree angle with Venus, but as the month continues, Mercury slows down as it's before it's going to turn retrograde on June 7th, and that allows Venus to catch up and get into a second 60-degree sextile on the 28th. Mercury in harmony with Venus, it brings lighthearted energy to the day. It's nice for using our minds for leisure, things like reading for pleasure, or going to an art show or a concert, or playing a game you enjoy, or just really talking with your friends. This is a day when we get a break from kind of the heavier energy and concerns of life that we've been really feeling, over the last month. So this is excellent for communicating our feelings with the people we love. So, tell somebody you love them. Express your appreciation and gratitude, and I suspect it's going to come back to you in kind. So it's also an excellent day to appreciate beauty. So you may want to put yourself in a beautiful environment, whether it's a home or a museum or spending the day in the country. And then, like I said, we've also got Mercury in a sextile to Uranus, um, which brings an interaction between a planet and its higher octave planet. We have Mercury, which rules the mind, and we have Uranus, which is about the higher mind. So this is really very exciting energy for our personal awareness and expanding into the larger consciousness of the universal mind. It's very fast energy in thinking and communications, which could lead to quantum leaps of faith. Or on the other side of it, people might get overwhelmed because they've got all this new information coming in, and it's so happening so rapidly. So, but it's a good day to look at an old problem with a new perspective. Uh, it's going to be a difficult day to follow anything routine, and you may begin the day with one expectation of the direction that it's going to follow, and then just find out you ended up somewhere completely different. And then also on the 15th, Venus is conjunct to Uranus. So from our perspective here on Earth, these are at the same degree of Aries. Um, this brings a day that's full of surprises. It's wonderful for self-expression in relationships. You should be careful of unexpected disruptions in relationships if folks are feeling bored or things are routine. The energy merges the planet of money and love with the planet of unexpected and independence. So the results could be shocking, but not necessarily bad. Someone who's been able to free them, like somebody could free themselves from a horrible relationship because this will give them the courage to leave. Um, Someone may unexpectedly have a financial windfall, Venus and Uranus, or they may enter into an exciting new love connection. Um, where Venus is also money, and so we could see some really unexpected thing with the stock market or another financial system. Could even be as much as a collapse. Basically, with Uranus involved, the results are unpredictable. And of course, this is also being influenced by Jupiter and Pluto because they're also part of within the orb of Uranus. Um, so relationships that are born under this type of a transit, that begin under this type of transit, tend to be very exciting and also unstable. Their financial opportunities, likewise, could yield unexpected gains or unexpected losses. Excuse me. The 16th is 8 Shuin. Monkey is about balance through creating something new in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. May 17th is 9 Ebb or Road, is patience experienced through serving your community, with Mercury in a square to Chiron, which can bring insecurities or fears forward in our consciousness. This could have people talking about their wounds and their healing. The 18th, we have 10 Ben or reed or corn. This is about manifestation through maintaining our homes. And we have Venus in a square to Jupiter. So again, 90-degree angle. And since we're talking about a home, we've got Jupiter is up in Cancer. It's about the home. Again, this is activating the cardinal grand cross. The energy of this square, though, is usually pretty agreeable in that folks are feeling good, enjoying social interactions. It's a great day for doing something you enjoy. Not so good for doing something you have to do, as it's low for self-discipline. This could be tough on dieters because people are going to feel more of the urge to indulge in rich or sweet foods, with a caution about eating and drinking too much under an influence like this, which also applies to shopping as well. Again, Venus ruling money, because you're going to have a tendency to overspend on non-essentials when it's in a square relationship with Jupiter. May 19th is 11 Ish or Jaguar, resolution through enjoying nature. And we have Mars turning direct, woohoo! As it builds momentum over the next week, we're going to start to feel that our fiery physical energy is starting to return. This shift our actions in a new direction. and Mars will build up speed to exit Libra and enter into its traditional ruling sign of Scorpio in July. So this is good news. Mars turning into direct. It's about time. Anyway, the 20th is 12 Man or Eagle. This is about understanding through seeing from a higher perspective. And at this point, the Sun enters Gemini. So when we think about this orbit, imagine the end of the handle here is the Earth. This the pointer itself is the line of sight, and as you can see, as it orbits, it then the line of sight across the Sun is to move into Gemini. This illuminates communication, along with Mercury moving through the sign of the Twins. The energy gets really fast. It's highlighting intelligence and adaptability as information flows at an increased rate. And then on May 21st, we have 13 key or wisdom movement to the next stage through introspection, meditation, or forgiveness in the Tzolkin calendar, the Maya. So anyway, no matter what the energies are affecting you during this one seed trecena, take some time out to be in the flow of the planet by being in nature, watching a sunrise or a sunset, communing with the stars, being conscious of the moment through introspection, meditation, or just really being conscious and being with somebody you love. Because, every day we have really is a blessing, no matter what the dramas are that are beckoning to distract us. We're all here just giving the performance of our lifetime on the world stage. I just suggest that you take some time out to observe the play as well as acting your part by remembering you're a spiritual being who's having a human experience. Anyway, thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of Care and Feeding of a New World Age will be on May 22nd for one Caban or Earth with Gemini, the Gemini new moon, and Venus will be moving into Taurus, and Mercury will be moving into Cancer. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, or the Mayan Magics website. And I encourage you to share this information as videos or text as widely as you choose. And I'm going to be discussing the metaphysics of June 2018 and providing some short human design readings to the participants of the Earth Needs Rebels show on Truth Frequency Radio on Monday, June 2nd. And it's a great opportunity if you want to get a free reading. They're about 10, 15 minutes long. But you can send them your information through the chat, or send an email to KD Research, and they'll call you for free anywhere on the planet, so you can get a free reading, and if you want to be actually able to speak on the radio show, the call is also free. As always, you're invited to contact me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you have any questions or you wish to schedule a reading. And I am providing readings, and I try to make this service available to the greatest amount of folks by having 3 different options with 3 different levels of compensation. And these are epic readings. I mean, honestly, my readings, they're usually at least 2 hours. They're often can be 3 hours. They can be quite long. But there is packed full of information for that whole amount of time about you, as these videos are about the transits. So anyway, so at the basic level, we look at your human design chart to help you understand how to use your individual strategy and authority in making decisions based on your unique design. I include 3 months astrological transits as they relate to your natal and progressed astrology charts, along with the human design reading at the middle level, so you get 2 readings in one. And then at the top level, the human design and astrology transit reading is recorded and then sent to you as an MP3 file to be downloaded to your computer. So if you've been thinking about getting a reading, please contact me. I'd love to provide you a reading during these uncertain times. You're going to need to either be able to call me in Maine in the USA, or we can connect with Skype to receive your reading. We're also accepting donations to keep these reports freely available. There's a lot of time and effort and money to keep this going. But if you want to make a donation, you might want to just get a reading. I mean, that way you got something to show for your donation other than knowing you supported a cause that you believe in. As always, I'm blessed that you've taken the time out to connect with my passion for all these ancient mysteries and their application to our journey in this incarnation. Delighten me, honors delighten you, in Lakesh, namaste, and thanks for your time and awareness of what we're putting out here. All my best. Peace, everybody.